is there a real reason other than the fact that they often got lost or whatever? But because the fact that most of them did happen in those handful of years makes me wonder if there was some type of event or something there, some vortex or some, UFO activity that was taking place in a handful of years that is the reason for all of them.
What's strange to think about too is, Robert was so recent, 2008, and there was such a large gap between him and the other disappearances over those 5 years. It's like, why
but he was able to tell, he's the one that's able to come back and talk about it,
Right.
And I think you do have to consider the fact that the time period, right?
Yeah.
It was much easier to get lost and to, people just knew way less back then about
less likely to find something back then.
Yeah, I mean, they didn't have the technology that we do now,
Right.
and most people are hiking with their cell phones, and you're able to, find them that way. So I think that's part of it is the time period. I mean, you look at the, even going into the 60s, 70s, 80s when it comes to people disappearing and serial killers being able to run rampant during that time period because they were able to evade being captured because there's not all this technology. So I think that is part of it. But I do think that Robert's story definitely speaks to what people still experience today. Like, people aren't necessarily disappearing without a trace, but people are experiencing very strange things up in the Green Mountain Wilderness. So I don't think you can really discount that. I think maybe the disappearances part of it could be explained by more conventional theories, but that doesn't discount the fact that perhaps the Bennington Triangle, because of this vortex or whatever this anomaly is that's kind of changing the environment, is still active today. So if you're going to go hiking in Vermont, especially in this Bennington Triangle area, at least bring a compass with you or bring some sort of navigational tool and hope that it works. I think a traditional compass would be interesting to see if that is affected by the anomaly. It seems like coordinates and things like that get messed up. So I wonder if you're up there hiking on the mountain and you pull your compass out and your compass is spinning or something. There's strange things like that. You're not able to use any navigational tools when you're on the mountain.
But wouldn't there be more record of that?
There's a decent amount of stories, but who's going to keep record of this? They don't even keep record of people missing in national parks, so who's going to keep record of that?
My advice to you would be don't go.
Don't go. Just don't go outside.
Stay where it's safe. Really, what do you think?
Well, I think that even today, people don't realize how easy it is to get lost in the woods and how everything can really start to look the same.
Yeah.
And you're on a trail and you're taking a fork in the road and you make a bunch of them. You're like, oh, on your way back, did I go left or did I go right? And then from there, it's very easy to get lost.
Yeah.
Surprisingly easy.
Yeah, that's
and
a good point.
yeah, they didn't have all trails back in the day.
No,
That's true.
Can get offline maps going.
Yeah. No.
Well, the other thing too is that when you're hiking, say you start in the morning, and by the mid-afternoon, the sun, I think sunlight has a lot to do with being disoriented too. Because as soon as the sun goes down, the forest definitely does look different, and trees look different, and everything can kind of feel whoa, where am I? Because yeah,
And it's dark. It's
yeah,
dark.
really
Pitch
dark.
black. Yeah, that's why it was smart that Robert brought the headlamp. But I do think it's interesting that broke because,
Yeah.
as we talked about with the Alaska Triangle, negative energy vortexes,
Mhm.
planes going missing, technology.
It's like it wants you
Failing.
to stay. Don't go home. You're with us forever.
Oh, that's creepy.
I hate that thought.
I would never hike alone.
I know we've talked about this before.
Creeps me out,
Hike with a
but,
buddy.
Yeah, you
At least
should.
you got
I
somebody to
understand it's nice to
talk
get the
to.
peace out in nature, but
Well, especially when you go
Anything.
miles and miles in.
Yeah.
Maybe bring somebody with you. Good idea.
well, anyway, we want to hear from you guys. What are your theories on the Bennington Triangle, or did any of the theories that we brought up make most sense to you? Let us know, and we will be back next week.
We will.
Even if
For 263.
yeah,
We will now be announcing the next number at the
263.
end.
Write it down.
Get ready. Put in your calendar. 263 coming up after next week. But that's gonna be it.
Until next
And
time, keep taking in mind.
a mile higher.
Hi guys, welcome back to my channel, or welcome if you're new here. My name's Susie, and lately I've been a lazy piece of kidding, but since I've been waking up after 12 PM every day, I figured it was time to get my routine together. And since I can never seem to stick to my own routine, I like to steal other people's. And that's where this guy comes in, Andrew Huberman. Andrew Huberman is a neuroscientist. He teaches at Stanford University, Tinsy Flex, and he also is the host of the famous podcast Huberman Lab.
Welcome to the Huberman Lab podcast, where we discuss science and science-based tools for everyday life.
So I'm going to be doing something I've never done before, which is willingly listen to a straight white man's advice. For the next 72 hours, I'm going to be trying Andrew Huberman's insanely productive, science-based routine as a lazy girl to see if it really hacks my brain and makes me the best version of myself. Andrew Huberman naturally wakes up at about 5:30 to 6:30 a.m. bright and early tomorrow morning.
It's 6:09 a.m. All I want to do is go back to sleep right now. I think I went to sleep at 12 last night. Okay, I'm getting up. I actually can't believe I'm awake. I'm not making much sense. Just ignore that. I do not feel well rested. There we go. That's what I mean. In the morning, I usually go straight to myself breakfast, but Andy likes to have a glass of salty water or electrolytes, which sounds less than appetizing, but let's go. So much less than I thought it was going to be. Have that. I've got naked harvest greens, which, good enough. Apparently this is supposed to give me energy and help my gut. I would prefer a coffee though. Anytime I wake up early, I wake up with a cough and a runny nose. In the morning, Andy does yoga nidra, which is a type of meditation that's supposed to promote non-sleep deep rest. He claims that sometimes it makes him feel like he slept 5 to 6 hours more. So I'm going to be trying this 10-minute yoga nidra reset your nervous system by Ali Boothroyd. Let's hope that I feel well rested after this, because I sure do not right now.
So now the eyes.
I'm going to fall back
If
asleep.
there's anything you could do to get just a little bit more comfortable, I'd start by taking 3